Tony D and Little Joan with a screenwriter's rant on Argylle, starring Henry Cavill, Sam Rockman, Samuel L. Jackson, John Cena, and everybody else. Smash like and subscribe. Thank you for smash liking and subscribing. Check out my books. Links in the description. Comedy horror in South Jersey. It's the Pineys. Books 1 through 12 available at Amazon.com. Don't forget, Kindle Unlimited is free. Kathleen O'Hara. Everybody's in this damn movie. First up, I sound worse than I am. I'm much better. Thanks for all your well wishes. I'm so down for a movie starring Sam Rockwell as a spy, because he's just so good. He's just really good in anything he's in. Henry Cavill doesn't hurt. I'm a little disappointed John Cena's in anything, but Kathleen O'Hara, always good to see her. The basic premise, there is a woman, Bryan Cranston as the bad guy. I think this is a good role for him. The main character is a writer. Where is she? She's got a cat. I believe the cat's name is Argylle too. Anyhow, she writes spy novels about an agent called Argylle. It's very famous, and she's very famous. And the problem is, she accidentally wrote what was actually happening in her books. So it turns out there is an Agent Argylle. It turns out what she wrote in her last book was unusually accurate. And so now everybody's trying to get her, to kidnap her so she can write the next chapter, which is weird because I'm not exactly sure how that would work. So what if she writes the next book and it's completely wrong? How does that impact, society or whatever? But it's kind of a fun premise. Gives an excuse to have, fish out of water, because obviously she's not a spy. Sam Rockwell is. And, the cat is going to be dragged around as well. And this is the fictional team. So it crosses back and forth between the fictional team and then the real team. It looks fun. It looks like a comic book. I'm not sure if it was. It's weird to see Samuel L. Jackson in it, only because he was in The Kingsman, and this is Matthew Vaughn directing, and feels a lot like The Kingsman. I think this was a mistake casting him, besides the fact that I'm kind of sick of seeing him in the same role over and over again. I mean, here he's not the villain, but you can't skip one movie with Samuel L. Jackson. Or give him a completely different role, and he's just got to do something different. I get it, he's older, he probably doesn't want to do anything different, or the studio doesn't want him to do anything different, but I'm just so sick of seeing him. I like him, but I don't know. I don't know what you could... I mean, his look's different. That's good. But it's only with Samuel L. Jackson. So he's not totally in it. So this is a big lineup here. Catherine O'Hara. What was the other one I missed? The blonde, I don't know who she is. So I assume Bryce Dallas... Adrian DePost. I don't know some of these names. Written by Jason Fuchs. I'll say that's pronounced. February. I mean, it looks fun. I'll say that. I mean, it's not going to be realistic at all. But because it's got a comedic bent, it could work, because comedy gives you that flexibility. If it's funny, it looks funny, looks amusing. It amused me. And Sam Rockwell, he's so good. between him, Henry Cavill, I mean, the whole thing just rises up. Um, Catherine O'Hara too, a veteran of many, many comedies. So I think this can work. Um, it's a little weird they're dumping it in February though. That's usually the graveyard shift for movies. But if it's good, it'll shoot to the top, and then the studio may have a sleeper hit on their hands. That's what happened to the original Daredevil, you may remember. It was kind of a dead zone, and then they dropped Daredevil in it. Everybody went to see it. So it was kind of a hit, at least at first. So first act, she's this is the fictional Argylle. She's hot. I don't know who she is. I gotta say that's a good shot of Cena being able to lift her up with one hand right off a motorcycle or whatever. So Ellie is the author, and she writes these books. She's very famous, but she's very much, a female writer trope. She's alone. She's got a cat. She's very bookish. She talks to her mom a lot. It's just her and her mom. She meets Sam Rockwell on a train, but really Rockwell's there to protect her. And thus the movie begins. He saves her, and then she ends up going on a real spy adventure. Samuel L. Jackson, I think, is the guy who sends people out. Bryan Cranston is the villain. He wants to kidnap her, excuse me, so he could write the final chapter. Again, you'd have to believe she was somehow making the events happen in her book, but I don't know. Do they resolve that in some way? But I mean, it's a fun concept. Rockwell has to keep saving her, and good on him for getting such a nice lead. I hope this movie does well for him. I really do. And in the end, she wins. Probably ends up with Sam Rockwell, I'm gonna guess. Under normal Hollywood circumstances, that would be the ending of the movie. They get together, and but you never know in this day and age. Matthew Vaughn, I think, has mostly good sensibilities. I really hated the Kingsman scene where the Kingsman kills everybody. I realize it's a cool scene, but in my view, wasn't justified. Really undermines everything about that movie. That's why the Kingsman series, for me, I'm out. After I saw that scene, I was like, what the hell is this? I think if you restructure it just a little, you could have made those people in the church or whatever evil enough in movie terms that, okay, he had to kill him. But yeah, it just seemed very gratuitous. So my hope is his sensibilities, other than that, his sensibilities are mostly on point. So my hope is there's not something like that in this movie. We'll see. It feels like a lot of times Hollywood has to relearn very basic lessons about movies. But did he learn that lesson when The Kingsman had 2 sequels? At least, I think. It was 2, right? And made a lot of money? I don't know. But this looks fun. This looks fun. A romantic comedy, really, when you think about it. If these two end up together. They don't show it in the trailer, so kind of hard to tell. In the old days, I'd bet money. These days, it's mostly likely. So, I think it would be fun. Let's see if there's a write-up here. Don't let the cat out of the bag. Ha ha ha. Argylle movie. Oh, yeah, big write-up. The greater spy, the bigger the lie. From the twisted mind of Matthew Vaughn, Kingsman franchise, Kick-Ass, comes Argylle, razor-witted, reality-bending, globe-encircling spy thriller. Bryce Howard, Dallas Howard, Jurassic Park franchise, is Ellie Conway. Oh, so that's her. I didn't recognize her. They really dressed her down. The reclusive author of a series of best-selling espionage novels whose idea of bliss is a night at home with her computer and her cat Alfie. But when the plots of Ellie's fictional books, which center on a secret agent Argylle and his mission to unravel a global spy syndicate, begin to mirror covert actions of a real-life spy organization, quiet evenings at home become a thing of the past. Accompanied by Aiden, Sam Rockwell, a cat-allergic spy, that's funny, Ellie, carrying Alfie in her backpack, races across the world to stay one step ahead of the killers as the line between Ellie's fictional world and the real one begins to blur. The top flight ensemble cast features Henry Cavill, John Cena, Adrian DeBose, Dua Lipa, Emma, Bryan Cranston, Catherine O'Hara, Sophia Boutella, and Samuel L. Jackson. Alfie is played by Chip, the real-life cast of supermodel Claudia Vaughn. Oh, interesting. He's married to Claudia Schiffer, huh? Oh, good for him. Argylle is directed and produced by Matthew Vaughn from a screenplay by Jason Fuchs. Wonder Woman, the first one. The film is produced by Matthew Vaughn, Adam Bowling, Jason Fuchs, David Reed. Executive producers Adam Fishback, Zega Camaza, Carlos Perez, and Claudia Vaughn. Oh, got his wife an EP credit. Nice. Well, she's got some money. Okay, I can see this. Yeah, it's from Universal, so I can't wait for streaming. I don't have a streaming for Universal. Universal doesn't have streaming, right? Or do they? Maybe they have one nobody knows about. I don't know. Yeah, and this looks like a fun movie to see in theaters too. It'll be big. There'll be explosions. I mean, Vaughn, for all his faults, it's a spectacle. Kick-Ass was a spectacle. I enjoyed that movie, the first one. So you got to give him that. He understands that. So I say yeah. I think this could be good. Don't turn it into a franchise though. Is it a franchise? I don't know. I think one and done for this one. But that's it for me, Tony D and Little Joan. Check us out on Odysee, Bitchute, and Rumble, if my voice holds up, for our more bass takes. I'll try to take it easy today. I'll be around on Saturday at the Vineland Public Library for the Fan Con. Just don't make out with me. Anyhow, we'll see you in the next one.